Most people get the definition of a recession wrong. It's not a storm to simply hunker down and wait out. It's an economic tide going out, revealing every crack in the foundation you built during the easy times. And right now, in 2026, the water is receding. For most, that's terrifying. But for a few, it's the moment they've been silently preparing for. The moment they activate their protocol. The survival and profit protocol isn't about predicting the future. It's about building a financial system with two distinct modes: preservation and acquisition. Think of it like a submarine. On the surface, in calm economic seas, it's designed for travel and exploration. But when pressure builds and depth charges drop, it doesn't panic. It seals specific compartments, redirects power to essential systems, and uses the very pressure of the deep to maneuver in ways surface ships can't. Your financial life needs the same duality. Today, we're moving to the control room and switching the system to protocol mode. The first action is to seal the hull. This is preservation mode. It's about identifying and patching every financial leak before the real pressure hits. And it starts with a brutal, loving audit of your single most important number: your runway. Your runway is not your savings account balance. It's the number of months your essential expenses can be paid for by your most liquid, most secure assets if your income were cut. Most people look at their bank account and feel a false sense of security. They forget that money has assignments. That $5,000 isn't just $5,000. $2,000 might be for next month's rent. $1,000 is for the car insurance due in 6 weeks. $500 is for groceries. Your true, unallocated runway is often a fraction of what you think. Your real safety net is measured in months, not dollars. Let's make it concrete. Meet Leo. Leo is a graphic designer. He has $15,000 in a checking account and feels okay. But his essential bills, rent, utilities, minimal food, insurance, total $3,000 a month. He also has $4,000 in credit card debt with a 24% interest rate. Leo's naive runway is $15,000 divided by $3,000 equals 5 months. But that's wrong. His debt is a silent leak in the hull. If he loses his job, that debt doesn't pause. The interest will eat his runway from the inside. So his first protocol move is to use $4,000 of that cash to obliterate the high-interest debt immediately. Now his liquid assets are $11,000. His runway is a cleaner, more honest 3.6 months. That's his true starting position. The goal in preservation mode is to extend that runway to a minimum of 6 to 12 months. Leo does this not by hoping for a windfall, but by activating the expense lockdown. This is where you convert luxuries back into fuel. The expense lockdown is a 30-day mission where every single non-essential outflow is identified and halted. That's the streaming services, the eating out, the impulse buys. You don't cancel them forever, you convert them into runway extensions. For Leo, cutting $500 a month in non-essentials means his same $11,000 now covers his $2,500 in essentials for 4.4 months. He's bought himself an extra 0.8 months of breathing room without earning a single extra dollar. This redirected cash flow is then moved to a dedicated, high-yield life support account. This account has one job: to extend the runway. Preservation mode is about creating unshakable calm. But calm isn't the end goal. It's merely the stable platform required to power up the second and most counterintuitive part of the system. Because while everyone else is frozen in fear, your protocol is about to switch to its most powerful function: acquisition mode. Acquisition mode is about using the recession's own dynamics, fear, lower prices, and desperate sellers, to strategically acquire assets that will power your next decade of growth. It turns the tide going out into your reconnaissance advantage. This is where we separate surviving from profiting. The key is to understand that in a downturn, almost everything goes on sale. But not everything is a good buy. You're not shopping for trinkets. You're conducting strategic salvage operations. You need a filter, a list of approved targets that your system is programmed to recognize. For most beginners, there is one dominant accessible target: the entire global stock market through a low-cost index fund. A recession doesn't cripple capitalism. It puts it on clearance. Let's bring in a second person, Maya. Like Leo, she executed preservation mode first. She has a 9-month runway in her life support account. She also has a separate, smaller acquisition fund she's been building. She watches as the market drops 25%. Headlines scream panic. This is the noise. Her protocol is programmed for this signal. She knows that for long-term investors, a market downturn is not a penalty. It's a period of increased contribution. Because she's buying shares of productive companies at a 25% discount. Think of it this way. If the supermarket put bread on sale for 25% off, you wouldn't buy less bread. You might buy more, knowing you'll consume it later. A broad market ETF is a basket of the world's economic bread. Let's attach numbers. Imagine the ETF Maya buys is priced at $100 per share in normal times. It falls to $75 during the recession scare. She invests $300 from her acquisition fund. At $75, she buys 4 shares. If she'd invested that same $300 at the $100 price, she'd have only 3 shares. The recession just gave her an extra entire share for free. When the market eventually recovers, and history shows us it always has, and returns to $100, her 4 shares are worth $400. That $300 investment gained $100 in value. The person who panicked and sold at $75 locked in a loss. The person who froze and did nothing gained nothing. But Maya, following the acquisition protocol, turned the fear of others into a structural advantage for herself. You profit by systematically doing what feels worst at the moment. But this isn't just about stocks. The same principle applies to investing in yourself, the most valuable asset you have. A recession is the perfect time to use your secured runway to upgrade your skills on the cheap, while others are distracted. Online courses, certifications, building a portfolio project. These are all assets you can acquire at low cost that will pay dividends when the economy shifts. Leo, our designer, could use his newfound calm to learn UI/UX, or motion graphics, making him more valuable and recession-resistant. The protocol turns idle fear time into compounded skill time. The true power of the survival and profit protocol is revealed when preservation and acquisition modes work in tandem, creating a self-reinforcing loop. The calm from a sealed hull gives you the clarity to spot the right targets. The gains from smart acquisitions, in turn, extend your runway further, feeding back into more calm and capacity. This is the flywheel most never engage. But to activate it, you must navigate the single biggest psychological trap: timing the bottom. You will never buy at the absolute lowest point. The protocol is engineered to reject this fantasy. Its logic is based on a concept called tranche deployment. Instead of throwing your entire acquisition fund into the market at once, you deploy it in scheduled, unemotional tranches, or slices. This isn't about guessing. It's about programming your behavior. For example, if Maya has a $3,000 acquisition fund, her protocol might command: deploy $1,000 when the market is down 20% from its high. Deploy the next $1,000 if it falls another 10%. Deploy the final $1,000 if it falls another 10%, or automatically after 90 days, whichever comes first. You replace the question, "Is now the time?" with the statement, "This is the plan." This mechanizes the process of buying into fear. It turns a paralyzing emotional decision into a simple execution of a preset rule. Each tranche is a vote of confidence in the future, made calmly from the safety of your preservation mode. Let's see the contrasting outcomes this system creates. We have Leo, who only executes preservation mode, and Maya, who runs the full protocol. Over a 2-year recession and recovery cycle, their financial structures evolve completely differently. Leo does the hard, smart work of building his runway to 8 months and killing his debt. He survives beautifully. But his money sits in his life support account, earning a small yield, barely keeping pace with inflation. When the recovery begins, he's safe, but he's still in the same financial place, just with less debt. His foundation is solid, but no new rooms have been built. Maya, meanwhile, used her tranche deployment. She bought assets at lower prices. As the recovery takes hold over the next few years, those acquired shares appreciate. That $3,000 acquisition fund might grow to $4,200. She then performs a capital reallocation. She takes a portion of those gains, say $600, and moves it back into her life support account. Your profit becomes the fuel for your future safety. This one move is the secret handshake of the wealthy. She has just extended her financial runway by an extra 0.2 months without saving a new dollar from her paycheck. Her protocol has generated its own safety. This is the system working as intended. Preservation enables acquisition, and acquisition reinforces preservation. It's a perpetual engine for financial resilience and growth. Your actionable blueprint starts now, in 2026, regardless of where the economic cycle is. Step 1. Calculate your true runway. List your essential monthly expenses. Total your liquid secure assets. Divide. That's your honest number. Step 2. Initiate a 30-day expense lockdown. Redirect every single dollar saved into a dedicated high-yield savings account, your life support fund. Watch your runway number stretch. Step 3. Open or designate a separate brokerage account as your acquisition fund. Begin funding it with even a small, automatic monthly transfer. Step 4. Set your first tranche deployment rule. A simple start. If the S&P 500 drops 15% from its high, I will invest 30% of my acquisition fund. I will repeat this if it drops another 10%. The goal is not to execute perfect trades. The goal is to install the dual mode system. To move from being a passenger, terrified of every wave, to being the commander in the control room. You'll have switches labeled preservation and acquisition. You'll have gauges showing your runway and your acquisition fund balance. You'll have a plan that turns collective fear into personal leverage. Recessions don't create new rules. They simply reveal who was playing a thoughtful game and who was just hoping the good weather would last forever. Your protocol is your game. It means the next time the tide goes out, you won't be exposed. You'll be the one surveying the landscape, identifying the valuable assets left behind, and making your move from a position of unshakable strength. You won't just survive the pressure. You'll learn to use it to dive deeper than you ever thought possible.
The single best financial decision you can make right now? Invest in your financial education. Hit subscribe to get our next breakdown and turn on notifications so you don't miss out, because the system only works if you apply it consistently. I'll see you in the next one.